Hello, and welcome to The Creative Habit, offered by Westbury Public Library. This series will bring creativity into everyday life. Each month, we'll look at some aspect of creativity and offer ways for you to build your own creative skills. First, let's figure out what creativity is, and that's an argument that a lot of people have had for a long time. Creativity is a phenomenon whereby something somehow new and somehow valuable is formed. So it could be an intangible, like an idea or a philosophy or a theory or a composition or artistic creation or a joke or a way to put your curtains up that takes less time. Or it could be a physical object, like an invention or a printed work or a painting. Why do we bother as humans to be creative? And why do we enjoy it? Mostly, creativity is a way to honor yourself in your life. It's a way to bring something into the world that solves a problem or enhances a situation. So it's satisfying. And creative thinking brings together your experience, your intuition, your education, your beliefs, your discipline, and your instinct all into one focused activity. It uses your head, your heart, and your hands. So in this series, we'll look at what makes a creative person, not just artistically, but at work, at home, or in personal relationships or professional relationships. We'll look at what stands in the way of most people when they try to be creative. And then those are obstacles that can be dismantled. We'll look at specific techniques that bring a creative approach to a situation or a problem or a challenge or an issue, and how to embed those techniques so they become habitual to you. You don't have to think about every step. Like learning a dance move, you think each step individually when you start, but as you practice and incorporate them into your life, they become more natural, and then you do it without thinking at all. Why me? Well, my name is Kimm Culkin. I have a degree in education for adults. I have over a decade worth of business and corporate experience in Canada, training and teaching creative thinking and innovation techniques, self-management skills, and I also have 2 decades in the arts, in dance and theater, comedy and choreography. And now I'm a librarian at the Westbury Public Library. So in each session we'll have a brief overview of one facet of creative thinking. It won't be exhaustive, but it will be something to get you thinking. Then a creative model for you to consider that covers one of the 4 Ps that is a sort of common agreement in the creative process: people, process, product, or place, which is sometimes called the press. And then you'll get a buffet of activities ranging from a quick trip to a deep dive to build skills, uncover attitudes and behaviors, and incorporate thinking and creative problem solving techniques into your life in a way that makes you comfortable, that you find useful. That's the point. So for this month, check your mindset. For most of us, we've been taught to think, how creative am I? And the answer for most of us seems to be, oh, I'm not creative. Over the years, as I've taught corporate Canada, I have heard that in virtually every session I've conducted. Someone says to me, oh, I'm not creative. The better approach for individuals to think of creativity is, how am I creative? Because virtually everyone I've met has some form of creativity that they are prepared to express. And then there are a lot, in my view, that are latent possibilities for creative thinking and creative problem solving approaches that haven't been explored. So the first thing is to view yourself as creative and then identify your strengths. Where do you feel that little surge of energy when you're looking at a challenge and the idea comes to you of how to solve it? Or when you know that there's something missing and you have a little thrill as you identify a way to enhance something or build something new. Then become aware of your biases, your perceptions, the limitations you put on yourself. Often these are cultural or educational or from your background, your family, your experience. So there might be a perception that creativity is mystical or it's madness. Those are simply biases, and you can overcome that. Recognize the obstacles that you have to creativity. Do you fear taking risk? Do you not want to look foolish? Do you not want to make mistakes that can be recognized or that you need to be accountable for? and then stay open-minded so that if someone presents a germ of an idea, because very few ideas are presented fully formed and very strong, it needs open minds around it so that it's not crushed as it's just coming to life. And then be deliberate. Look for ideas. Look for ways to create and generate ideas. Look for gaps or holes or challenges that need good ideas. For the exercise buffet for this session and for every session, choose 1 to 3 activities from any of the categories that you'll receive in the exercise buffet. So the first ones are Q&D, quick and dirty. They're just self-awareness exercises, generally take under 5 to 10 minutes, and they're intended to get you to just become aware of certain obstacles and strengths. Then there are jumpstart techniques, and those take a little bit more time, a little bit more effort. They may need some limited materials or equipment, but they are to get you to jump into a new way of thinking. And then there are a couple of deep dive exercises. You may pick one, you don't have to. And those are to offer you long-term perspectives in your thinking and your attitudes so that you can start making more permanent changes. Do what you can manage. There are no tests with this. There's nothing that has to be done before the next session. It's just for your own personal growth. So this month, the Q&D, the quick and dirty options are: check 3 habits. List at least 3 things you do from habit. And that could be: what radio station do you listen to? How do you get your news? What are your regular dinner recipes? What do you like to read? What kinds of books do you like to read, of fiction or nonfiction, and so on? And what is the kind of beverage you enjoy most of the time? And change one of them each day between now and the next time you tune in. The second one is break your mental roadblock. So grab a timer that has a loud ding. It can be on your phone. It can be a mechanical timer. Set it for 5 minutes. Now this is weird. So you put your pencil tip in the middle of a blank sheet of paper, so and a decent sized one, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Then you turn away and you look at the hand that's not holding the pencil. So just put it out in the air and look at it closely and draw what you see, but you can't look back at the paper or pencil. So you're just drawing your hand as you're looking at it away from the pencil and paper. And don't cheat. And to give yourself the full 5 minutes to do that, you'll be absolutely astonished at what you do. And it's just a way of breaking your perception. Then the last one you could choose, and again, you don't need to do all of these, you don't need to do any of these, but they're just ways to jolt your thinking and get you looking at things in a different way. So consider 5 obstacles. So write down obstacles to your own creativity. So they may be habits that you're stuck in, or perceptions that you know you hold that may not be helpful to you. They could be experiences you've gone through that have taught you not to think of yourself as a creative person, or your education, or your attitudes that you've experienced through your families. Be specific. So not just fear, for example. What do you fear? Is it a fear of looking foolish? Is it a fear of getting hurt? Is it a fear of losing a promotion? Be very specific so that you know exactly what you're contending with. For the next set of exercises, these are the jumpstart options. So the first is start an idea notebook. This does not have to be fancy. It is not necessarily a bullet journal, although those can be helpful. This is just a notebook. It's so hard to hold on to all the thoughts we have in a day. You can't do it physically, so we tend to lump our ideas into these clusters, and these clusters are what harden our perceptions and biases. So record anything that occurs to you during the day. It can be a fragment of a phrase. It can be a full-blown notion. It can be something that sort of was stuck with you when you woke up out of sleep. It could be a jingle or a picture, an image of some kind, something that leaps into your head unbidden. These are idea germs, and that's where good ideas start. The other option is to do the tiny truths exercise, so you pay pure attention. So find an image that pleases you, and it could be an image online or in a book or magazine or a photo that you've taken, or it could be in nature. Nature is really a great combination of terrific influences. So you can just find that image, Set a timer for 10 minutes so that you're forcing yourself to spend that time, because we often don't. Then you look at the picture steadily, no distractions. Just look at it and look at each element of it. Look at it with all your energy and focus. Then later, after the 10 minutes, you recall the image visually, not in words. So you render the image in a different way with pen or pencil, whatever. Then accept what you've seen, accept what you observed, accept what you noticed, and accept what you paid attention to. And then during the day, just come back to that image, recall it, either recall in your memory or recall by looking at the image. But by the end of the day, the recall should be all through your mind's eye. For your deep dive option, make it two. You can do the TikTok, which is not the current TikTok online. This is a paper TikTok, or it can be on your screen. Make a 2-column sheet and put one side as tick, the other side as talk, and then you write down any negative thoughts that prevent you from moving ahead or achieving a goal or feeling that you have a creative mindset under tick. So, for example, in this example, I'll never do it is a tick. I'll probably screw it up is a tick. I never have time for this kind of stuff. It's a tick. And then you consider each negative and substitute either an objective or a positive thought. So it doesn't have to be Pollyanna-ish. It doesn't have to be everything will be just perfect. It can be something as simple as from I'll never do it to I'll just get started. I don't have to do it all at once. Or I'll probably screw it up to, well, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're giving yourself, in essence, permission to get past the negativity to at least a neutral frame of mind, and perhaps even a positive frame of mind. Put all those more positive or objective thoughts under talk. So every time you think your negative thought, which is likely being, this is not the first time you thought it, you can go to the talk and give yourself a new self-talk. And it's talk. Then the second project, that's a larger project, is your autobiography, your life story, 2,500 words. You can go shorter or longer, but 2,500 words is enough to really give you some meat. And this is to establish for yourself a solid foundation to understand how you approach creative thinking. Gives you rules that you lived by or you live by now. What was taboo in your life or is now? Important events and significant figures, milestones, major influences, the peaks of your life that you can point to and say, that's something that defines me. That's something that scarred me, or that's something that motivated me. It can take a little while to do this, and you're not going to do it probably all in one sitting. For those of us who aren't accustomed to writing, it can be even a more strenuous task, but it's well worth it. And virtually every exercise that you commit to paper is a stronger commitment to a change. So don't be afraid to just say, I need this time to write it down. So for this month's creative process model, using the Wallace model, and that's from 1926. That's a relatively older model. The history of creativity is actually really interesting because creativity wasn't even believed to be a human function until the Middle Ages. So the models that we use are mostly from the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries. At any rate, the Wallace model starts with the notion of preparation. So you gather information, you learn everything you can about whatever problem you're trying to solve or whatever challenge or gap you're trying to fill. Then you leave it alone, and that's why you would often hear, well, I slept on it and the idea came to me. The incubation part is just as important as any other part because it allows your brain time to make unexpected connections, which is at the heart of creativity. From that incubation period, the model shows illumination. So there is a sudden aha moment, or there's a gradual realization, but at some point the light goes on and there's a new solution or invention or innovation staring in the face. And then verification is the sort of hard part of the process, the testing, evaluation, and assessment. So that's one way for you to think about your own idea generation process. is to prepare so that you're not just, some researchers believe preparation is not necessary. Others believe it's very necessary. It's a rare, there's not that many models that don't believe that it helps you to gather information, impressions, interview others, have some kind of data or knowledge or wisdom to as a foundation for your new phenomenon. So that's for this session. This is session 1, so this is intended to be just a general look what we can do kind of session. Next session we'll deal with making time and giving yourself permission. So continue to build your creative skills by completing some of the activities outlined here. And then on May 22nd, on the library's YouTube channel or Facebook channel, we'll have the next installment of The Creative Habit. I'm Kimm Culkin from the West Grey Public Library. Thank you very much for joining us.